maybe let's get it together and we're in position and we're frustrated maybe a little bit with ourselves and others. And then some of us are just completely running away from the work and being distracted. So right now the youth is way more powerful than we anticipate because we underestimated the fact that, okay, they're in the digital games, they're like very consumed with a lot of, the media. And it seems like this generation is way more, they're more saturated when it comes to being stimulated. However, that is what is needed in a way, because that intensity to be able to take in and download that much information on a constant lets you know how advanced we are as a people and as a nation of people, just this world. So it just means that we as a people now, our generation got to catch up with this younger generation and stay in cycle so that we can stay in the cycle to be able to catch a lot of stuff, because really they're in position, but they're just focused. Their programming is on the wrong thing. Yeah. And it's a lot of us in the same position too. And now we're older and in position, and we're being shaken into position like traumatically. And it's like, oh, I'm still the baby. I wasn't even ready. No, you in position now. You got the crown. You got the whatever. It's time for you in position now. You're on the forefront. So that's where we are.
Right.
And we don't have it all together. Half the time we don't really know what we're doing. I'm just gonna be real. But Spirit knows what the mind can't conceive, and that's what we have to do, is just remind the youth of togetherness, because there's a lot of isolation and separation in the minds, and that's been done with the overstimulation of all the programming. Right. And so we have to bring our platforms like you're doing now and give them something more and push those agendas so that we can get back to what our community needs. The reason why our kids are so overstimulated, because we're not spending family time. We don't, like I notice even with myself, I'm a single parent. I hate to call all the statistics or whatever, but I'm raising my kids by myself. And a lot of times I notice if I'm too busy doing my own thing, I have to balance out parenthood, motherhood, my selfhood, being myself, having my time, and understanding that I have two girls that have two totally different personalities, individual personalities, and I have to make sure that I'm incorporating and giving them energy. So it starts home. We have to go back home and catch the root of it at home. And then get more, involved into the community centers and the schools, and actually seeing what they're experiencing. Because a lot of times the disconnect between our group and their group is because we're not listening to them and they're not listening to us. But we say the youth don't listen. You can't tell them kids anything. But you ain't heard nothing about what's going on in their world. So I think it's just a combination of everybody's being overstimulated and overwhelmed, and nobody actually getting to the core of everybody just want to be heard.
Right. Yeah, especially our people. We want that attention. We need that attention. However, everybody needs it. That's a big part of the healing. Especially in therapy, we need therapists. We need people that can sit down and that will listen and see what's going on, but then be constructive and not be criticizing when somebody is, sharing their piece and sharing their story, whether their point of view is right or wrong, but somebody just to listen and see what they're going through, and we do not have that. Right. I strive to create spaces for that, because I know that I felt like I was just a natural, kind of like a therapist growing up, because I could sit there for days and let somebody just talk, and I'll just take on all their, all their energy, whatever, what I mean? And I would be fine with that. I'll be okay with that. The only thing that I didn't like was that, I didn't have nobody that I could go to and release.
To transmute, to release the energy that you took on from someone else.
Right, so that made me understand that we just don't have, and I just didn't, and not to say that there weren't people there, I just wasn't aware of the outlets. Right. Because I only trust my people, and when I say trust my people, meaning that every individual is not to be trusted, but, just the fact that we're going to be we're going through the same experiences
Mhm.
because we're genetically the same.
Right.
So
right.
there's certain things by nature
That
that
you
you're going
don't
to understand that other
Right.
groups of people are not going to understand. So, and that's no slight to other groups of people because
Right,
they have
it's
to
just
deal with their own.
common ground that
Yeah.
we have. You know what I mean? As a people, so
Mhm.
it makes sense. Whenever you are introduced, it's just like when you have they have the little different business opportunities or networking groups they have you come to, and you have bring a friend, and oh, my friend referred me. So if you have someone that you know that refers it makes it, more accepting, especially if you feel like they're trustworthy and you've seen them do the work, and
Right.
it makes it more receptive. You're receptive to what they have to offer as far as the tools. But a lot of times in our community, we just don't have the knowledge, and then a lot of times we have the knowledge, and we have some that have the knowledge, but we sit on knowledge because we want to play the rank and the hierarchy game. I know it and you don't know it, so even though I know people perish for the lack of knowledge, I'm not going to give you the tokens or the jewels that you need. And that's crazy because that's hindering us as a people too, because when we meet people, we are supposed to be exchanging energies. I'm a ball of energy, you're a ball of energy. There's something that you have that I need, there's something that I have that you need. So we have to exchange energy and be able to bless each other with each other's keys. I feel like when we meet people along our path and other people have your keys and you have other people's keys. And when you get stuck, it's because you got too many keys on you that you need to get off of you because you're trying to hold on. Like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Well, you need to give somebody their keys because you can't do all this. Look, if you were meant to be God and healed and all this right here and just do all the nations, but that's why I would freak out when my mom would say, Nikki, you got nations in your belly. God would have called. Nah, I need some help. Like, look. Right. Ancestors, can we have a meeting? I didn't know anything about this. Like, I'm pretty sure you have an entourage of other people that's gonna back me up or something. But that's the beautiful thing about village work. I'm not the only one out here doing this. Steve is doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. Other people are doing their thing and giving what they have to offer. So that's the thing that we have to do as a people, get in position and get out of yourself. Like, my thing was just, when my mom would say that, not having the confidence, believing that I had enough to do what I need to do. There's nothing for you to do but wake up and be you. And that sounds hard for a lot of people because a lot of people have been waking up every day being what Steve wants you to be, being what the person down the street, your mom and your daddy, your best friend. You've been doing this for years, and after you get so tired, you get depressed, and you realize life ain't happy no more. And guess what? I don't like this because you're not being who you're supposed to be. A friend and I were talking last night. It's like, whenever you have depression, they say depression is the sign of your avatar telling you that it's tired of playing the character that you've been playing that role. Wow. So I thought it was like, oh yes.
Sure. My avatar has been telling me strongly then,
Avatar, it's time for you to put on a different mask. Like, we gotta switch. We gotta be shapeshifters in this community, like, of just moving through the world. You gotta be shapeshifters. You gotta move through. This season, you may be heavily painting. Next season, you might be putting up molding. Right. Next season, but the thing is, Spirit knows what the mind can't conceive, and Spirit will always supply you with everything that you need, and the tools and people and energies along the way. But you have to align with yourself. You have to be open to the self-discipline. You have to be open to the growth and change. Change is your best friend. If you ever make friends and be best friends with change, it will bless you with resilience. Resilience is the only